सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ओम ओम नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्ध ज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशांताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्य प्रमाणतः व्याख्याता सर्ववेदान्ताः तान्नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ करुणावरुणालय पालय मां भवसागरदुःखविदूनहृदं रचयाखिलदर्शनतत्त्वविदं भवशङ्करदेशिक मे शरणं। समस्त ब्रह्म विद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिमात्रे नमः। वेदव्यास वैशम्पायनादि गुरुभ्यो नमः। याज्ञवल्क्य महर्षे नमः। आद्य शंकर सद्गुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम अथ प्रणवोपासना chanting करो। ओम this is in Shiksha Valli. The Pranavopasana is the 16th Anuvaka that we chanted yesterday. Again we will chant, continue the next portion. Spend these 6-7 minutes in chanting Veda mantras with full devotion, requesting the Shruti Mata to give us qualification to understand all the deeply secretly hidden treasures of wisdom, knowledge. Om Omiti Brahma Omiti Dagam Sarvam Omityetadanukrutih smava Apyo Shravayetya Shravayante Omiti Samani Gayante Ogam Shomiti Shastrani Shagam Santi Omityadvaryo Pratigaram Pratigrunate ओमिति ब्रह्मा प्रसौति ओमित्यग्निहोत्रमनुजानाति ओमिति ब्राह्मण प्रवक्षन्नाह ब्रह्मोपाप्नवानीति ब्रह्मैवोपाप्नोति। ऋतं च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च सत्यं च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च तपश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च दमश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च शमश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च अग्नयश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च अग्निहोत्रं च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च अतिथयश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च मानुषं च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च प्रजा च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च प्रजनश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च प्रजातिश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च सत्यमिति सत्यवचाराथेतरः तप इति तपो नित्यः पौरुषिष्टिः स्वाध्याय प्रवचने एवेति नाको मौद्गल्यः तद्धि तपस्तद्धि तपः अहं वृक्षस्य रेरिव कीर्तिः पृष्ठं गिरेरिव ऊर्ध्वपवित्रो वाजिनीव स्वमृतमस्मि द्रविणगं सवर्चसं सुमेधा अमृतोक्षितः इति त्रिशङ्कोर्वेदानुवचनं वेदमनोच्याचार्योऽन्ते वासिनमनुशास्ति सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान्मा प्रमदः आचार्याय प्रियं धनमाहृत्य प्रजातन्तुं मा व्यवच्छेत्सीः सत्यान्न प्रमदितव्यं धर्मान्न प्रमदितव्यं कुशलान्न प्रमदितव्यं भूत्यै न प्रमदितव्यं स्वाध्यायप्रवचनाभ्यां न प्रमदितव्यं देवपितृकार्याभ्यां न प्रमदितव्यं मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव यान्यनवद्यानि कर्माणि तानि सेवितव्यानि नो इतराणि यान्यस्माकं सुचरितानि तानि त्वयोपास्यानि नो इतराणि एके चास्मच्छ्रेयागंसो ब्राह्मणाः तेषां त्वयासनेन प्रश्वसितव्यं श्रद्धया देयम् अश्रद्धया अदेयं श्रिया देयं ह्रिया देयं भिया देयं संविदा देयम् अत यदि ते कर्म विचिकित्सा वा वृत्तविचिकित्सा वा स्यात् एतत्र ब्राह्मणाः सम्मर्षिणः युक्ता आयुक्ताः अलोक्षा धर्मकामाः स्युः यथा ते तत्र वर्तेरन् तथा तत्र वर्तेताः अथाभ्याख्यातेषु ये तत्र ब्राह्मणाः सम्मर्षिणः युक्ता आयुक्ताः अलोक्षा धर्मकामाः स्युः यथा ते तेषु वर्तेरन् तथा तेषु वर्तेताः एष आदेशः एष उपदेशः एषा वेदोपनिषत् एतदनुशासनम् एवमुपासितव्यम् एवमुचैतदुपास्यं शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मावादिशं ऋतमवादिशं सत्यमवादिशं तन्मामावीद तद्वक्तारमावीत आवीन्माम् आवेद्वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. This practice of 5-10 minutes chanting always helps us because we become familiar with the Veda mantras, which is our culture, tradition, our heart, our everything. Especially for the Haindava Sanatana Dharmis, Adhyatmika Sadhakas. It is by the grace of the entire Guru Rishimuni Parampara that we are in the study of these Upanishads. Now, the Taittiriya Upanishad, let us chant the Shanti mantra and the first three invocatory mantras with the meaning in the mind. Om Ada Shri Krishna Yajurvedantargata Taittiriya Shakhantargata Taittiriya Upanishada Siksha Valli शान्तिमन्त्रः ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतो तद्वक्तारमवतो अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ आद्य शङ्कराचार्यकृत मङ्गलाचरणश्लोकत्रयम् ॐ यस्माज्जातं जगत्सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रलीयते येनैव येनेदन्धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते. We all are human beings living life, and we are given opportunities, abilities to live. In this life living, there are two types of livings. One living is that living by which we fall. There is another living by which we rise. For the sake of both of them, to fall as well as to rise, the support is needed. Holding on to some support, we fall. Holding on to some support, we rise. So, that support holding on to which we protect ourselves from falling, we help ourselves to rise. That is the true support. And what is that support is our own Adhyatmika sadhana. And in this Adhyatmik sadhana, all supports are there, not one, many, holding on to which from each of the fall we have to protect ourselves from and reach out to each of the rises or the heights which we are supposed to do. So the body tries to fall in the laziness, then hold on to the support of the Karma Yoga. The senses try to fall down into the indulgences. Then the hold on to the support given by Guru Shastra and taken by ourselves of the self accepted self discipline. The mind tries to fall into its own imaginations, fancies, and projections, and hold on to the support given by the God or the Guru and the Shastra of love, of good qualities, of the prema or the devotion. So, prema and bhakti are the supports shown given to us by the Shastra and Guru, holding on to which we stop our mind falling into the trap of the emotions of variety of the raga, dvesha, ityadi. So too, the intellect tries to fall in having the world as real and world as the goal. Take the support of the jnana given by the Shastra to protect the intellect from falling to that level and rise above. So too the ego tries to fall by its identity with the upadhis. The Guru and Shastra says, you are not the upadhyukta jiva ego, you are the nirupadhika sarvavyapaka brahma. Holding on to this knowledge, we have to stop ourselves falling from and we have to rise above. In the same way, in our behavior, we fall. Then the do's and don'ts that are given in the Shastra that protects us from that falling. We also falter in our dharma, in our vyavahara, in our transactions, in our interactions, in our attitudes, in our intentions. So everywhere, if the wrong support is taken, and the essence of all wrong support is ignorance only. If you take that support, we keep on falling. The sign of fall is perennial effort, perennial misery, perennial feeling of limitations, as if we have nothing with us, as if everything is lost and we are also lost. That sort of experience, anytime we have fallen. On the other hand, when there is an experience of fulfillment, joy, completeness, and a sense of achievement, the causeless, effortless ananda, then we have risen. So, what you and I from last 2 years are doing is trying to take the support of Shastras to protect ourselves from falling into only the worldliness and rising to become a sadhaka and also to know what is sadhya and sadhana. As always, it is said, because of the cloudiness of the manabuddhi, because of the extrovertness of the senses, because of the absolute childish immaturity of our own ego or individuality, these achievements, what are taught in the Shastra, are not possible overnight. Not possible with few efforts in few months or years or lives. We have all these limitations. Our ego is such as childish, it still is indulging in the world. It is still quarreling in the comparisons and competitions, and it is still trying to eke out something from this empty relativity to such small ego of ours. Like a child, you want to tell him the highest knowledge of the PhD. उसको पल्ला पड़ेगा ही नहीं. So too our egos, individualities are so meager, so at low level, that gambhiratas, the maturities, that no, this is not the life to be sought, the life is meant for something else. That sort of feeling deeply from the heart has not yet come. Therefore, till it comes, the meaning and purpose in the spiritual pursuit fully will not recognize. Therefore, our attempts will not be serious and sincere. Therefore, the transformations also will not be so great. So, this is what the evolution which takes time. So holding on to the support of Shastra slowly. So too, the mind, the intellect, they all have their own small limitations in us. No concentration in the mind, no purity in the mind, no subtlety in the intellect, no Shuddha Sattva Guna in the intellect. So each of the qualifications, when we keep on gaining, and applying those qualifications, when we do the Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam, then all our Adhyatmic sadhana starts happening or falling in right place of right direction with right speed. In that direction, in that speed, when we keep on traveling, then we can see the things appearing so crystal clear. What is the clarity of the appearance of the things means? What am I at this moment? Very clear where I have to reach out unambiguously, very clear. So, what is the position I am in now as regard that goal is concerned? This is the position I am in, very clear. Then, what are the things to be done, path to be walked? Pakka clear hai. Among that, what is to be done in the near future, immediate future? This type of clarity or the light comes to us after all these equipments are made proper and they are used to study Shastra under the guidance of Guru for a sufficient period of time. Till that time and even beyond also, the only support of Swadhyaya, the only support of Satsanga, the only support of Shastra, the only support of Sadguru and our Ishtadevata and our sadhana. These six supports we should never give up. Tell to oneself very strongly, these are my supports which are protecting me from total downfall. These are the supports holding on to which I am becoming stronger to rise above, to evolve from the ordinary human to the something not that way extraordinary, something more human, and the purpose of human life, that is to evolve to the divinity. I am understanding the glimpses and tell to oneself, like Hanumanji, like Lord Rama said yesterday, to all the Vanaras, without you, I would have never accomplished this task of killing that Ravana and bringing Sita. Is it not? How much grateful he was to all the Vanaras. So beautiful that topic. Today also it will continue. In the same way, time and again, these supports which are protecting us, we have to remember, we have to acknowledge, we have to recognize them gratefully. We should become stronger in holding these supports at every and any cost and price. That's called Purushartha. And in that, the more genuineness we add, genuineness is very personal. The more sincerity we add, that also very personal. The more regularity we add, the more time we give it to it, the more love we pour on this pursuit, the more extra we'll be able to do, then the more extra will be the result and achievement also. This is what is for everyone. Whether it is learning of chanting of mantras, whether it is learning of the literal meaning of those mantras, every one of them, whatever the pursuit you do, whether you learn the bhajan kirtana, whether you learn the parayana of stotra, whether you learn the puja vidhanam, whether you do the japa, whatever sadhanas, in them, if these ingredients which are said just now are added, then each of those sadhanas become more beautiful and fruitful. So, what I said so far, the choice for human being is to fall as well as rise. Both of them have the supports. And the one who takes the support to rise above is the person marked for maturity. And what is the rising is spirituality only. In the spirituality, the support are these few things. And these supports, when you continuously hold on, and to them, when you add our own garnishing ingredients of our regularity, love, sincerity, etc., then each of the sadhana which we do, they become more beautiful. When the doings are beautiful, the results also are equally wonderful. That's how consciously, day in and day out, the one who is involved only in this, exclusively in this, you know, precisely in this, nothing else, he is called as fully grown up, fully matured sadhak. Now, no more looking here and there of him, no more stagnation, no more looking back and again anything, not even worried beyond the sight about the future. He's so clear about what he is going to do, what he is expecting out of it, and he is the one in an absolute peaceful mood will be doing sadhana. फिर करते रहो तो होता जाएगा. जितना करना है करते रहने से जब होना है होगा हो. There's no more any worry thereafter. So may we all, by the grace of Mitra, Varuna, then Aryama, then Indra, then Brahaspati, then Rukrama and Vayu Bhagwan, may we all be in this mood of complete sadhana all the time. May that Shuddha Sattva Guna dawn in all of us by the grace of all these devatas and the entire Rishimuni Guru Devata Parampara, as well as our Taittiriya Upanishad Acharyas. Every day, this prayer when we keep on applying. And every day, when the opportunities are encouraged to the extent of ability and maturity, slowly the blossoming will happen, the sprouting will happen. Then the maturity of the fetus in the womb, as if the fetus of the Brahmagnana slowly matures. One day it is delivered as an experience. May we all deserve that. Any obstacle en route may be removed by our conscious effort also, supported by all the Devata Shaktis whom we are praying. ब्रह्मविद्या प्रतिबंधक निवारणार्थम ब्रह्मविद्या उपसर्ग निवारणार्थम विद्या श्रवण धारण उपयोग अर्थम अप्रतिबंधेन स्तुतिम कुर्मः. We are doing the stuti every day. May all of those devatas be all around us, gurus all around us, every one of them, many of them, so that they keep on pushing us, supporting us, empowering us, helping us in this most difficult sadhana of a spiritual evolution. Because Shreyansi Bahuvignani, every moment there will be vignas. Now, in this Taittiriya Upanishad of Taittiriya Aranyaka of Krishna Yajurveda, having three vallis, the Prathama Valli is Siksha Valli. In that, the Prathama Anuvaka was the Shanti Mantra of Shanno Mitra, exhaustively with Bhashyam. We have seen the meaning of it. Now, how much we remember, how much we do sadhana, it is too subjective. Okay? It depends on each individual's willingness, abilities, efforts. No guru can force that on anyone. Guru can only will, guru can only guide, guru can only pray. In the second Anuvaka, which we started yesterday, started talking seemingly not at all a related topic to Brahma Vidya, seemingly, but the most related topic. That is the Shiksha Adhyaya, in which for all the communication, the base, the substratum called as the Bhasha, the language, with all its aspects, is given importance to learn thoroughly in the beginning itself, so that later on, when the communication between the Guru and Shishya happens, in trying to transform the knowledge, this already learned Bhasha in all its details becomes such a great asset that the flow of the knowledge from Guru to Shishya is happening smooth and unhindered. If the Bhasha with all aspects are not known, like what I am speaking, this language, if we both of them are not sufficiently equipped in that, at every sentence of mine, like if I speak to you in Telugu or any other, at every word sentence of mine, you will be in a confusion. You're in a doubt. Again and again, you have to ask me, आपने क्या बोला, मैंने ये बोला, आपने क्या बोला. I have to again and again try to tell you. It's become such a struggle to you. And because we have chosen a common language which both of us have learnt, the communication is becoming easier. And communication is not of the language. Communication is not of the words, but through the communication of the language or the words or the grammar, the theme is communicated. The ideas are transferred. The knowledge is being transferred. The understanding is being enhanced. In that, all the goal or the means and preparations, obviously, they're all being told through them. Therefore, as much Adhyatmika sadhana exclusive is important in the later stages, as much Adhyatmika Adhyayanam Swadhyayam is very important in the intermediate stages, so much is the study of the Bhasha with grammar is important in the initial stages. That is why in the Gurukula that is taught in the beginning, here also in the Gurukula it is taught, the Guru Maharaj is reminding and saying ki last six Anuvakas or six Adhyaya or even before that, all these are taught to you thoroughly. Hope you are well versed in all of them without any doubt. And what are the things that were taught to you in summary and which you have mastered, which is facilitating now for our mutual communication, are these three sentences, these six words, in which entire Bhasha Shastra is embedded as subheadings, of which we have to work out the details. To those disciples, they were already taught. But you and I, if you have not learned, we have to learn. And that is mainly of the Sanskrita Bhasha to be fully independent in doing the Swadhyaya and Manana Chintana by studying by oneself, which is unparalleled, which can never be replaced by any number of lectures, listening, any number of commentaries, studying. All these details we explained yesterday. In short, Sanskrita Bhasha, in which all the Shastras are there, has to be learned with all its grammar. In that, the three things are what? The ability to write, the ability to read, the ability to chant. लिखना, पढ़ना और उच्चारण कर पाना. And in these three, the entire grammar, which toward the end of the class yesterday, we explained all those aspects. Master, when we do that, then the poetry gurgles through us when we even casually speak, like Bhagwan Shankara, Adi Shankara. When he wants to write a commentary in prose, helpless that it appears like a poetry only. That much of pakad in the bhasha, which made it him come easy for communicating ideas in a most glorious form. It became a joy for him to express. So too for us, the students, when we study his commentary, along with the thought process, the expression, the language is so touching, so beautiful, because he mastered that. So too Gurudev, he has mastered the language English. This is the profoundness, the eloquence with which he speaks that language. Many people, the English pundits used to come to listen to his class to learn English. And they remain only as English learners, not the Vedanta learners, by the way. His way of annotation, the pausings, the vocabularies, the anecdotes which he used to use. Oh, it was masterly. So हमको तो ये समझने के लिए 1000 जन्म लगेंगे. The way he used to speak. And understanding the point. And lack of language with all its grammar and chanting and ucharana is such a liability. But if one is mastering that, wonderful. So every day, like in our profession also, you have to update in our skills, you have to update in the field, and we have to perform and we have to achieve. So too in our spirituality also, update our language and grammar, update in our communication what Guru is teaching us, and the updation of our sadhana. That's how when we pay our attention, then slowly we can see the evolution certainly happening. Right now, we are doing something, but what's happening, we are vague about. But the clarity will come as to really we are doing substantially and really the result is coming. As clear as like the child when he learns the tables 2 threes are 6, 6 fours are 24. He knows that he is doing something and he is understanding. Later on, its application in is mathematical problem solution. Everywhere. So let us chant this second mantra and summarize what we said yesterday and continue with this. Om Atha Shiksha Valli Ditiyonuvakhah Om Shiksham Vyakyasyamah Matrabalam Samasantanah Ityukta Shikshadhyayah. Again, Shiksham Vyakyasyamah Varnaswarah Matrabalam Samasantanah Ityukta Shikshadhyayah. If you have, along with your book with commentary of anybody, more than that, the mantra with swara marked book, especially the Ramakrishna Mission has got in all languages the mantra pushpam book. Especially this Upanishad, you can see and learn the chanting of mantra spashta rupa along with the swara, which we are practicing every day. I suggest you all must have that book, and then with me when you study, together when we study, the great practice will happen. So again, Shiksham Vyakyasyamah Varnaswaraha Matrabalam Samasantanah Ityukta Shikshadhyayah. So Shiksham Vyakyasyamah, we are exhaustively teaching you Shiksha. Then at the end of it, iti ukta shiksha adhyayaha. The episode of teaching you the grammar is over. Clear? And what is the shiksha? Shikshate anaya iti shiksha. All that bhashyam we have seen. Shiksha eva shiksha. Shikshante iti va shiksha. Varnadi ucharana lakshanam. So Varnadi Uchchara Lakshanam Shikshante or Varnadi Shikshante, both of them is called Shiksha. So what is taught in the Shiksha Dhyaya, in the Shiksha classes for the disciple by the teachers there? Varnaha and Varnanam Uchcharanam. Remember? Varnaha, Varnanam Uchcharanam. This is the first basic thing. Once the varnas and varna ucharanam are learnt, then again the combination of the varna become the pada. Then the combination of pada becomes the vakya. Then all the vakyas help us in communicating the ideas. So that is what is said here in the Shiksham Vyakyasyamaha commentary by Bhagavan Shankara. So we have to also focus in learning all these alphabets. Learning the writing of them mainly nowadays because of these computers and cell phone. All of us have forgotten to write. कभी कभी याद अभ्यास करना अपना लिखने का. When we were in the course, every day at least half an hour we were given the abhyas of writing the Sanskrit and all हाथ से लिखना पड़ता था. It has helped us tremendously. While writing, you can chant like any of Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranam. Just while chanting, you keep on writing it. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta. Don't write in your mother tongue. The lipi should be Sanskrit. Lipi and Bhasha, they are different. Bhasha is in Sanskrit, but all of us are trying to learn that Bhasha Sanskrit in our lipi. Like Telugu people learn Sanskrit with Telugu Bhasha written. Oriya people will learn Sanskrit in the Oriya lipi written. Sanskrit is Oriya. Sorry, Sanskrit is Bhasha. Lipi is Oriya. No, Sanskrit in Sanskrit. Otherwise, it will be so worst thing that all Sanskrit we are learning in English. And English spelling cannot be suitable for the Sanskrit many a times. Like Pradyumna. How can you write in English? Pradyu. Pradyu it will become. If you put a H, Pradyu it will become. Both are wrong. So you can't write Pradyumna in English. You have to write in Sanskrit only. Like that, so many things are there. So Bhasha pe pakad. Shiksham Vyakyasyama. Now, one by one, these are the things. 6 things, first by heart them. Varnaha, Swaraha, Matra, Balam, Sama, Santana. On these six things, when we fully focus, then our understanding and mastery of the bhasha, along with all its grammar and utilization, is achieved. Our understanding, mastery of the bhasha is achieved when the six are understood. These six put together is Shiksha Dhyaya, the elementary education of all the alphabets, all the grammar, everything of that. And before, after this only, the communication of the ideas start. Like in classes, children, LKG, UKG, after only the letters are all learned and pronunciation learned, then the communication of बिल्ली को दिखाकर देखो बेटा बिल्ली है या CAT cat MAT mad RAT rat they tell है ना COT cut NUT nut BUT but the teacher is telling. The child suddenly asks, okay, teacher, then what is PUT? Pat. No, 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 it is put. Are, how can it be? That is what English. In English, CUT cut, NUT not VT what, but PUT is not put. It is put only. Illogical language it is. Still, it is used. That is the beauty of it. Is it not? Then one by one. First, the two lettered or three lettered words are taught. Then the four letter words. Then you can see how it is developed. Same way, in all our mother tongues we have learned. So too, the mother tongue of all spirituality, the Sanskrit also we have to learn. So first one is Varna. Varna. What is that? Tatra Varnaha Akaradihi. So yesterday we have dealt exhaustively about this. Ki the Varna starting from A to the Visarga called as the Swaras, then starting from the Ka, then ending at the Ha, the Vyanjanas, all of them we have to first know what are they, then learn how exactly they are started to be written and written completely. अब उल्टा नहीं लिख सकते आप. जैसे तेलुगु में या कोई भी संस्कृत में अ लिखना है तो ऊपर से शुरू करके नीचे आना है. I remember how our teacher made us hold that slate pencil and slate and made us write. Otherwise, this fellow will start from नीचे से because नीचे से लिखना आदत अच्छा होता है. Easy like A. If it is not taught like this, no, then we'll make the slate उल्टा. फिर A ऐसे लिखेंगे हम. जिंदगी भर उल्टा आएगा वो. So तत्र वर्णः अकारादिः. So, little touching we gave yesterday and told you to browse through all the possible sources to become familiar with that bhasha, Sanskrita. इसमें varna first. The 52 varnas which are there, swaras and the vyanjanas both are there. And we said the a, I, u, a, I, o, aha. They are the swara and ru also are in between added. Then ka varga, cha varga, ta varga, ta varga, and pa varga. Then antastha, then ushmaha. So yara, lava are called antastaha. Shashasa are the ushmaha. And ha is called a mahaprana. These are all the aksharas, and every one of them have to be learned to be pronounced exactly like that. Then in each of these groups of vargas, then the mouth's movement, the tongue's movement, the teeth's utilization is different. Depending on that only they are labeled, named. Those who are pronounced with the base of the throat, they are called kantyaha, ka, kha, ga, gha, ga. They are from kantha. Therefore, they come the kantyaha. Then some are there from the tala bhaga, so therefore talavya. Some are there because of dentals, because the teeth is involved in that the tongue has to touch the teeth them. Like say ta, tha, the, dha, na. You can't say them without touching the teeth by the tongue. Say ta, bina touching the tongue by the teeth or teeth by the tongue. You can't say them. Dantave they are called. And the Oshtavya, finally, the Oshta, the lips have to come together. Then only the Akshara is pronounced fully. Like Pa. Can you say Pa without the touching of the lips? Pa, Ba, Bha and Ma. ये बोलने के लिए लिप्स को टुगेदर आना है. So the Oshtavya, Talavya, Dantavya, then the Murdhanya, these are the 5 groups of the letters. They are categorized in these all Varnamala. In that way, we are made to pronounce. And the teacher ensures that exactly we are pronouncing it. Okay? First called Tatra Varnaha Akaradihi. And in that Akaradi, like in some of the languages, they don't have the second hard words. They are called Parusha Aksharas, Sarala and Parusha. And first of all of them are Sarala, Ka, Ga, Cha, Ja, Ta, Ta. Then the second one are little harsh. They are called as Parusha Padas. Parusha is not that way harsh in other context we use, but you have to stress that. Like the second one is Ka, then the Ga, then the Ga, then Cha, then the Cha, the, and then the. You can see the pronunciation itself is activating different aspects of our personality, of those letters. Remember, all these aksharas came from Akshara Brahma. If they are fully respected, they take us to Akshara Brahma. That much power is there in these aksharas. Because the entire sound came from Paramatma, and sounds are indicating Paramatma only because there is nothing other than Paramatma in this world, and there cannot be any goal for us other than Paramatma, and there is no other source than the sound to reach the Paramatma only when we master it. That is being done through learning of language. So ka, kha, ga, gha. So to the Anunasikas, then the ha, when it is a ha should be ha. It should come from the Nabi level. Mahaprana kehte hain usko. And but that itself is a great practice. You and I, now I'm not able to do it because I never did it. I should have done it. If it is done, the Mahaprana would have been given me such a great Shakti. That is why this is, Ha is a Shakti Bija for mother. Hrim, 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 Hrim. They tell us to do. Ha is a Mahaprana. So to the Sha, the three types of Sha, the Shankara wala Sha, the Shashti wala Sha, or Fir Sa wala Sa. Sarvam wala Sa. Every one of them must be clearly known, chanted. No mixing up. So in this way, Varnaha means Akaradi, all the Aksharas. First master them. Then yesterday, in the expansion of this, we spoke about how the Aksharas combined become the Pada. Then when the Pada is Prayogita or utilized in different contexts, when it becomes so different based on different grammar rules. All of that falls in the category of Varna only. पूरा ये वर्ण में है where you are learning entire grammar. That's why I said learning varnas along with the padas and the entire grammar is one aspect. Then the second aspect is ucharana of that. Then third aspect is where to do ucharana, how to do ucharana, what for to do ucharana. First is learning thing. Second is learning the ucharana. Then prayoga of that ucharana. Is it not? This is how the language is used or helps us. So, Varnaha, in that we said in this grammar is expanded with so many of the Samyukta Aksharas, the Sandhis, the Samasas, the Vigrahavakya, the Alankaras, then using all the utility of the pada or the discussion or the communication, the entire expanse of the grammar happened. Yesterday we said in terms of the cases, in terms of the periods, past, present, and future, the kala, then in terms of the genders, then in terms of the vachanas, ekavachana, dirvachana, bahuvachana, bhutakala, bhavishyat vartamana kala. Then prathama to the saptama vibhakti and sambodhana. That is how the bhasha is fully developed. Remember, it itself is a world, the language. Mind you, whole world is nothing but language. There is no world if the language is not there. That is what again and again said in the Mandukya Upanishad. The entire world is language. Language are the sentences. Sentences are the words. Words are the letters. Letters are auma, and auma is amatra, and amatra is nada. The nada is Paramatma. In fact, this bhasha is such a powerful tool. The entire world is Bhasha Yukta. Entire world has come from Paramatma. Entire Bhasha has come from Paramatma. When the Bhasha is properly understood, it will help us managing the world. It will help us transcending the world to reach Paramatma. Now, these are all so many things that we can go on discussing. All that is a variety of discussion. In the Upanishad, all those not there. So we don't go into those expanses. So varnaha means akaradi varna. Tatra varnaha akaradihi. So what is varna? The se lekar all of that, the writing aspect of them, the ucharan aspect of them, how they become pada, and all of them should be kept in mind. Now comes second one, it's swaraha. The swaraha is the all five swaras which we spoke yesterday. Udatta adi. Like today we just now chanted, if you remember, Taittiriya Upanishad mein, we chanted the last Shanti mantra in the Prathama Anuvaka, Prathama Valli. Shanno mitrah shamvarunah shanno bhavatvaryama shanna indro bruhaspatihi. So we try to give the swaras as marked. And these swaras have, please remember, all the three effects of managing our personality layers, all the three effects of influencing our personality layers, and the third effect of invoking the respective forces called devatas, etc., to whom these are addressed. Whether they are addressed to the devatas or whether they are addressed to the people around. Is it not like swara in general, not the Sanskrit wale? When you call your child, beta either rao, when you say that, he will not come, but when you increase or change your swara, either to the very much arti of requestful, bete mere pyare avna, there is a different effect of it. Words are same, but the swara change, the effect is different. When you strongly tell him, beta idhar aao, वो तो दौड़ कर आएगा वो. Is it not like the Guru also? Do this homework. When he casually says, you say, tum kar lo. When the Guru says the same thing with strong connotation and all, swara badal kar bolenge, so you understand in his swara that ये हुकुम है. नहीं करेंगे तो उनको बुरा लगेगा. करने से हमको फायदा होगा. That thinking will happen in you when the way of saying is different. Swara. Like in that manifesto, everything in the world is swara only today. The advertisements are nothing but swara. Ki they put it with such a background music that you are tempted only to buy that. Or they tell it in such a swara कि वो चीज नहीं खरीदा तो तुम्हारा जिंदगी वेस्ट है. You may leave Brahma Tattva, but you can't be without that object. Like that they tell with that swara. All the ads of 70s, 80s, 90s, if you see, the whole thing is swara. Because of that only we remembered. सारे कोई भी किताब सा याद नहीं रहते, लेकिन ऑल दी स्वरस, ऑल सिनेमा गाना ये याद होते हैं. All the advertisements and movies of that we remember. So you understand the power of swara there. Here also, these anudakta swara, the madhyama swara, the udakta swara, the pluta swara, and the swarita swara. Then that swarita swara used in the exhaustive chantings like that of the Samaveda, Samaganam. These are the 6 ones. About that also we have to thoroughly study. This becomes the second aspect of the Shiksha Dhyayaha. Okay, swaraha udattadi. And that has to be respected as it is said here. Then each of the follower of the Veda Shakha, words remaining same, as trained in that Shakha, the swaras differ. The difference is there in the swara, but not that they are wrong. Like we follow the Krishna Yajurveda, the Sringeri Sampradaya. So for us, the swara markations of each of the Upanishads or each of the Purusha Sukta, etc., are different, and the way of pronouncing also will be different for us. We do it. But when you go to the Uttara Bharata, they follow the Shukla Yajurveda. In the Shukla Yajurveda, the swaras are different. And mantra remaining same, swara will change sometime. Like the Purnamadaha, In one text context, you will see the swaras are below. Or Shanti, Shanti, देखो, in Kenopanishad, the Shanti में, the Sha के नीचे अनुदात्त स्वर है. In another Shanti mantras, the Anudatta Swara is below the Ti, if you see the difference. In Kena Upanishad, if you chant Shanti at the end, Shanti, Shanti, ऐसे कहना पड़ता है. In other Upanishads, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So it means what? In that Vedic parampara, that was how the swaras are given, revealed to those rishis. No rishi made these swaras for the sake of some publicity or something. No. That is how in that parampara the Paramatma revealed to them that way. So, Yajurveda, Shukla and Krishna. So too the Rigveda. The Rigveda chanting will be different. Adharva Veda and their swaras will be different. Then Samaveda, unke swara alag hoenge. So fighting nahi karna, compare nahi karna. Otherwise, what will happen when a South Indian goes to North Indian temples? When they chant Om Sahasra Shir Kha Puru Kha Kha, these South Indian thinks that that fellow is doing wrong, that pujari. They don't say Purusha, they say Purukha. And what is Purukha? Kahan se bhai Purusha? That is what they are right. And when they come to the South India, that's it. That's why Adi Shankar Bhagwan ने the South Indian Rameshwaram में North Indian पुजारी को, North Indian Badri Kedar में South Indian पुजारी को बिठा के he tried to integrate the entire nation as well as all these things. Don't to have any differences or the fightings. उनका वो पद्धति है, इनका ये है. So Swara, Anudatta, Sama, Udatta, then Swarita and Pluta and Samaveda Yukta. These are the 6 Swaras. Then that Swaras are indicated on those letters, around those letters, Upar ya Niche. At that letter level only, we have to do the changing of that Swara. As much we have to chant the letters with Swara when the Swara markations are there. So much importance is not to use any swara when there is no swara. Like Sahana, देखो सा के नीचे है, हा में कोई स्वर नहीं है, ना के ऊपर है. तो जितना इंपॉर्टेंट है सा के नीचे स्वर का देने का अनुदाता, उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है हा में कोई स्वर नहीं देना. It should be sama. Then the na you have to go up. Then again come to down. Sahana vavatu. In that vavatu, all the 3 letters, there is no swara. So vavatu should be samana. Again sahanau bhunaktu. Sahaviryam. Now V is niche, Yam is upar. In between nahi hai wahan. So you have to go to Anudatta and then Udatta. It becomes such a practice of not only concentration, but the entire training to all through pranayama, all our inner, subtler, vital organs and even beyond them, the nadi, etc. वो तो बड़ा है वो. That's all we have not thoroughly studied, so not authorized to speak. But all those effects are there in the Swara Yukta chanting of the Veda mantras. Therefore, Siksham Vyakyasyamaha Varnaha Akaradi Swaraha Udattadi. We have taught you, you have practiced, you are tested, you have passed. In all the Gurukula, like in the Varna is taught and the Parikshas are done and children are given the pass certificate. So too in the Swara also, they are given thorough training. सुबह 4 बजे उठकर स्वर, like संगीत स्वर साधना. In that also, ठंडे ठंडे पानी में सुबह 4 बजे जाकर ये सारी ग म प द नि सा सा नि द प म ग रि सा. How much practice they have to do? There also first they are said. Then each one trains them. Sa sa ni ni da da pa pa. Sa sa ri ri ga ga ma ma. Pa pa da da ni ni sa sa. Then sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. Then sa ri ga ma pa da ni sa. Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. Then sa ri ga sa. That all the swara practice. I am just telling, and nothing is known, but that's Bhasha. जैसे भाषा है वैसा संगीत भी है, सिर्फ भगवान कृपा है, भगवान से प्रार्थना है तभी मिलता है, नहीं तो नहीं. But once one knows all the ragas and swaras of the Sangita, how can he revel and how he makes the audience also revel in that. In the same way, the one who can master the bhasha and in that bhasha ucharana, all these, he will himself make happy and he can please all the devatas. Is it not? With proper swara, when the devatas are invited, they definitely come and bless. So, varnaha, all alphabets understood, but practice at home. आज से घर में बच्चों के सामने उनको बढ़ाते हैं, आप भी क ख ग घ ञ च छ ज झ ण ट ठ ड ढ ण त थ द ध न प फ ब भ म य र ल v. These two chanted with mouth, not in the mind, imagining that मैंने कर दिया. Many people think in the mind and they do, like you are all doing now. आपको लग रहा है कर दिया. No, with the mouth. Chanting is always with mouth. Communication mouth only. Entire world is mouth communication. Only in Dakshinamurti case, without speech, there is a communication. At all other murtis, we have to learn and communicate. Okay? Chant it. Vocally address it. Learn to speak out. Okay. Second one is matraha. Udattadi. हो गया? Sorry, swaraha udattadi. Now the third one is matraha. Matra topic is very important. Hraswadihi. So the when the grammar aspect of it comes, then the variety of the matras which are added to the basic letters for their subsequent utilization, it also has got its own rules, regulations. We have to learn all of them also. The hraswadi matra means what? Like a, u, e, I, o, am, aha. इतना तो हमने सीखा. बट उसका मात्रा में अ को लंबा करना, देन गिविंग ऑल द ग्रामर टू ऑल ऑफ देम, स्पेशली टू द क, लाइक क का की कू के कई को कौ कम कहा. These are all called as the matras. Then you have to respect them perfectly. As I said yesterday, toward the end, 2-3 examples. If the matras, hraswa if you make dirgha if you make the hraswa, then the jodakshar you make the todakshar, the todakshar if you make the jodakshar, it becomes such a terrible thing. This is called matras. Like spashta rupa you have to speak. What is the word spashta? What is mean by spashta? Clear. But if the matra is not properly understood, like in some places in India, especially in the north, like Punjab and all, they say aspashta. Hare, he is wanting to say the spashta, but he did not practice the language. Therefore, aspashta. He is totally talking the wrong thing. मैं तो आपको अस्पष्ट रूप से बोला हूँ स्वामी जी, मैं तो कहा तो आपको स्पष्ट बोलने से, तो मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ ना अस्पष्ट बोला हूँ. भाई क्यों अस्पष्ट बोल रहे हो, स्पष्ट बोलो. स्वामी जी आप नहीं समझ रहे हो, मैं तो स्पष्ट ही बोल रहा हूँ. He is not able to drop that so there that problem, calling the scooter as a scooter, student as a student, these are the things which trouble. That Bhasha is like that. We are not contradicting, fighting with that. But such things, if in Bhasha like Sanskrit are done, lot of troubles come. Yesterday I gave you some examples of the Sakrutu, Shakrutu, then Shankara and then Sankara, then Sena Ninam, Sena Ninam. So the matra ucharana, if the ekamatra, matra, dvimatra, then whatever the all the rules when they are applied, I said ka, ki, ku, ke, kai, ko, kau, kam, kaha. Exactly, if you don't chant them, the entire meaning only goes off of the track. This is very important aspect along with the swara, the second topic, the varna, the first topic. So the varnas are akaradi, then swaras are the udattadi, then the matras are called as hraswadi, dirghadi. So in that all the comes. Hraswa ho gaya, dirgha ho gaya, then you can add all the samyukta aksharas in that. In Samyuktakshara, sometime two letters are added. Letters means aksharas. Varna, sometimes three are added. See, in that three, there are already ta and ra. There are sometimes four also added, like spruha. Spru, sa bhi hai, usme pa bhi hai, ra bhi hai. Like screwdriver in sa and ka and ra. These are all called as ki hraswa dirghadi, which counts as matras. एग्जैक्टली उतने ही मात्रा में बोलना हमको आना चाहिए. Like ana chahiye. When they say a and na, then only you will understand. Like if you say ana, then ana chahiye. Then ana chahiye is never understood by you. ये क्या हुआ स्वामी जी को? What are you saying by saying what? क्या हुआ स्वामी जी को? You are understanding Swami is not doing proper matra to them. मैं वहां जा रहा हूं, जा रहा हूं. If you say जा रहा हूं, what is जा रहा हूं? Nobody in the world understand who knows Hindi. You have to say जा रहा हूं. There should be जाग में मात्रा दीर्घ वाला होना चाहिए, रा में ह्रस्व होना चाहिए, देन हा में फिर दीर्घ होना चाहिए, देन हूं में फिर दीर्घ होना चाहिए. मात्राः ह्रस्व दीर्घादयः, they are also to be learned. In that again giving the gaps etc., every one of them are important. So this is the third aspect of the शिक्षाध्यायः मात्राः ह्रस्वाध्यायः. तो ह्रस्व दीर्घ मत बनाओ, दीर्घ को ह्रस्व मत बनाओ. Immediate examples I'm not giving you, but there will be terrible problems will be there in that. Sanskrit bhasha mein, the joy is in chanting. Chanting only reveals the meaning. In fact, even invokes the grace of Bhagavan. In other languages which have come from Sanskrit are independent, जो भी है उनका फ्रीडम उनका रहने दो, पर उनका भी अपने भाषा में अपना ग्रामर होता है, उसको भी रेस्पेक्ट करना है. So swarah akaradi, then varnah akaradi, swarah udatta anudattadi, then matra hrasva dirghadi. Then the fourth one comes is balam. Is it not? Then what is balam? This is very important. Prayatna visheshaha. Prayatna visheshaha is the most important thing. Balam means what? As I told you, every letter when it has to be pronounced, every shabda when it has to be pronounced, every vakya, the bala, the prayatna vishesha has to be there. Means vishesha prayatna, special effort of stress has to be done at the level of uttering, whether it is the entire sentence kaho या नहीं तो एवरी वर्ड कहो. If that proper bala upayoga is not there, prayatna vishesha is not done, which is called as bala upayoga, again the meanings will change. Like the other day we gave the example of ki chodo mat maro, bala vishesha. Same thing, but if the words are little bit changed, that mat, if it is pronounced little closer to the chodo, see the whole meaning different becomes different or not. Chodo mat maro means leave, don't kill. Now say this another way. Chodo mat maro. Words are same, but the bala vishesha is different given bala is different because of the prayatna vishesha. Therefore, the meaning has totally become different. In the first case, it said leave, don't kill. Here it is said kill, don't leave. How much difference it has become? Bala vishesha. In that bala vishesha again, ka has to be said as ka only. Da has to be said as da only. When the conjunct consonants come, then because of not using the vishesha bala, prayatna vishesha, you can't say upar bolkar ho gaya. No. The bala vishesha, which is and also the prayatna vishesha called as bala is what? As of just now I gave the example, whom you are talking to. Though the language and the purpose of using a language remaining same, whom you are talking to uh, decides how you put it. That bala is called as prayatna विशेष. लाइक जैसा भी कहा हमने भोजन के लिए बुलाना, to that the women of the house. Now the bala vishesha is different for her to use the words to call for bhojana when she is calling her husband, when she is calling the devar, when she is calling the child of her own, when she is calling the guest, and when she is calling the sasurji. Each time the balam is different or not. She can't call everybody. She like the child she invites. Arey, khane ke liye aa jao. She can't say same thing to khane ke liye aa jao. So she'll have to say in different balam. Prayatna vishesha. So we must know the context where we are talking, and we must know the vishesha of the prayatna to be done to get the work done in that communication. That is called as the bala. Prayatna vishesha. Sometimes we have to become humble, simple there. Sometimes we become strong also. Same word when you have to say with anger, that bala or prayatna vishesh is different. When you have to say it with the loving atmosphere, it is said in differently. And bala prayatna vishesha in uttering a vakyas and sentences has a lot of thing included in it, in its influence towards whomever you are using that language to speak to. Bala Vishesh, like Pujya Gurudev. 40,000 he'll have to address. Therefore, he has done the Prayatna Vishesha in his language using that Balam. Therefore, it could pierce through the hearts of the people. Many other lectures, they speak, they don't use the Prayatna Vishesha of the Bala, and they leave everything only to the audience's effort to understand. If the audience are not up to the mark, then half of them sleep only. The Bala Vishesh. Is it not? And it has its different, like at a class में teacher. Bala Vishesha, Prayatna Vishesha Bala ko use करके, when he is teaching to the children, he knows when to use humor, when to use the seriousness, when to use the Gambhirata, when to use the intellection. According to that, he can keep the children all the time alert. If this Prayatna Vishesha is not known in some of the classes, when the teacher in a one monotonous thing only teaches, then the children get bored and they sleepy. Bala Vishesha. Prayatna Vishesha is called as Bala. Like as I said just now, Ha. When you have to say, you have to use the Ha. So Ha nahi hota. Ha hota hai. Dha means Dha. You have to do the Vishesha Prayatna for doing the Ucharana. That Bala ka upayog karna, Bala prayog. Depending on the requirement of the situation. Prayatna Vishesha. Is it not? Like you have called the 100 number and you are telling them, I think it is 100 number, yeah, is emergency, yeah, it is a fire quenching valley, yeah. Then see, I am staying here, my name is so and so, and this is what my profession is, and this is where we stay, and then this is how somehow the fire has caught this building, and the building is burning. And if you are free and if you have nothing to do, if there is water in your that firing vehicle, why it's called fire station, it comes for fire quenching only. And if you have time and if you have eaten your food and taken proper rest, then casually आप आ जाओ. Will you say like that to 108 or 100 number? How do you talk when a fire accident is there or something? Bala विशेष है कि नहीं वहाँ, प्रयत्न विशेष. For that विशेष प्रयत्न, you use different balam. You have to tell that ये accident हो रहा है, address है, आप तुरंत आ जाओ, 1 second में waste. Bala विशेष. प्रयत्न विशेष is balam. So that alertness, the maturity. Always in using that language. Depending on the person to whom we are talking, context and the purpose to be achieved, there should be Vishesha Prayatna. In that Vishesha Prayatna, all are required. What are the required? how to use the varna, how to use the swara, how to use that matra, all of that. Like when you have to communicate at night when others are speaking. There, the prayatna vishesh is to reduce the volume. Not that you chant loudly or talk loudly that everybody disturbed. That is also vishesha prayatna. Like to bring out the big sound, you have to do the prayatna of biggerness. So to reduce it, there is also a vishesha prayatna. Like in Sangeetam, when he has to go to the high pitch, the Panchama Swara, that is Vishesha Prayatna. Then the Madhyama Swara is different Prayatnam. Then we'll have to do the very lowest, Vovi Prayatna. Idea is what? You have to do the due Vishesha Prayatna to bring out the meaning and purpose out of your speech. That ability is called a Balam. That is also taught. Bala, Prayatna Vishesha. This you can experience in India-Pakistan border in Vaga. That commandant, how he gives a command to that Indian army when they have to bring out the flag. अवनतम जब कहते हैं तिरंगा का शाम को, एंड ऑल्सो दे अनाउंस करने वाला भी प्रयत्न विशेष. ऐसा करो, तुम खब्बे जाने तो खब्बे, सज्जे जाने सज्जे, जब थक गए बेटा तो बैठ जा. The army officer gives this type of command to the all the brigade or सब क्या हो जाएगा उसका. He has his balam, he is trained for that. And the way he commands with prayatna vishesha in the ucharana, it makes the 100, 200,000, 2,000 soldiers to just act without even their own thinking. They don't need to think there. There's nothing to think. Listen the command and follow. There's a power of that command. Akraman! Akraman ka arth kya hai? You can't discuss there. You just jump into action taking the swords and all. Prayatna Vishesha. That's called Balam. So too, if somebody is in a Dukkha Sthiti, now there you can go and slowly you do different Prayatna Vishesha for consoling that person. That also Bala only. Somebody is successful. So when you congratulate person, that is different Vishesha Prayatnam. That is called Balam. All I'm talking about the communication with the language through the words, having the letters in them with the matra and swara. So varnaha, swaraha, matra and balam. Balam. And one of the example for the bala is what? Yesterday मैंने बहुत बार दिया आपको remember कि पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, ये भजन है. Now how this bhajan has to be chanted? That is the prayatna vishesha. We can discover the maturity of the singer in that. If he is singing with all crying and frustration, he has not understood the bhajan at all, first of all. Can it be chanted with the misery? पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो. Can there be more frustration than frustration in this? When you get a Rama Ratana Dhanna, you have to exuberantly, in a joyful manner, you have to sing. भाइयों जी मैंने, ऐसा होना चाहिए. That is called a विशेष प्रयत्न. In the same way, कोई मर गया. No, that खबर you cannot give. अच्छे हो गए मर गए रे बाबा, excited way. That is different प्रयत्न विशेष. Balam. Okay. Now the next two are very important. Sama as well as Santana. What is Sama? We will talk about it. कि सामः वर्णानां मध्यमवृत्त्या उच्चारणम. That is samata. Sama is samata. What is samata? Varnanam madhyama vrittya ucharanam. It's a very essential point it is. Ki all the varnas, first and foremost, we have to learn to do their ucharana with the madhyama vritti, depending on our own throat's ability, without comparing with others who are each one born with a different base of the throat. किसी से लड़ना नहीं, कंपेयर नहीं. What is my throat? Its capacity. Like women are different. Even the women how and how the childhood, the youthhood, old age. Each time the base of the throat goes on changing. Therefore, you can't compare. But at whatever the stage of life we have, each of us have our own first madhyama vritti, the base. That is called as Sama and Samata. And basing on that Samata first learnt that whatever the earlier said four things are have to be practiced. You are chanting of swara with different matras and with different swara. You are chanting the varna in different swara and matra with different bala should be based on the Samata beginning basically. Just like that famous example of Tanpura in a music concert. पहले वो living person used to do. अब क्या है ना, they put something, a instrument. It is set to one tone. Then the entire orchestra, how many of them are there, always are in tune with that Tanpura, whatever it is set. According to that, then basing on that, they go up or go low and come back to it. That becomes a madhyama thing for them. Is it not? In any of this singing also you can see that the madhyama thing. पहले वो कहते हैं that the singer tells the tabla wala harmonium wala. भाई मध्यमा या कुछ कुछ bass he tells whatever is their thing depending on the type of song. है ना, लोग बोर हो रहे हैं तो they want to sing an exciting song. Then they tell a basic thing. Then on the basis of that up and down you have to go. So the sama is madhyama vrutya varnanam ucharanam. Okay, madhyama vrutya ucharanam varnanam. It is called as samata. In that what the speed or slowness and high and low, all of them are balanced. First that we have to learn madhyama vrutya ucharanam. Then basing on that, depending on the requirement, we may increase or reduce. You understand? And then when one establishes oneself in his basic madhyama vritti and sticks to that only, be careful. How much ever number of hours he will speak or present is all the presentations, his exhaustion, tiredness may be there for the body, other aspects, but not in the speech. These are all about the speaking because the language is speech related. And what is Santana? Thereafter, how this grammar should never be limited only for the grammar level, but through the grammar, via the upasana, how one can enter into meditation, that will be taught in the next Anuvaka. Suddenly, from the grammar discussion, the Guru lifts the disciples to the upasana level. From the grammar, through the grammar, in the grammar only. By saying which, what he tries to communicate is what? Again, when I told you the importance of grammar or language, don't get caught up as if that is the goal of life. After all, entire purpose of learning all of that is to invoke the grace of the Lord. For that, what is required is upasana. Therefore, the learning of the grammar is an upasana. After learning the grammar has to be used for the upasana only. How to do? He will tell us about the 5 examples. Beautiful that is. And in those 5 examples, listen careful. I'm telling now only, tomorrow yaad hai ki nahi. In those 5 examples, what he teaches us is, out of hundreds aspects of the grammar learnt, one aspect when it is utilized, how it can help us in doing the sadhana called upasana. This will be explained. Then the summary told is what? That is how your entire grammar of the Bhasha learning itself is a vision. When you develop in and through that, you can see 2 more visions. One vision of how the whole world is created by the Lord. The second vision of how you visualize the Lord in this entire world. Therefore, what is learning of the grammar? It is a vision. Vision of what? Seeing the Lord permeating everywhere. For that sake, the grammar. Therefore, how to visualize the grammar rules or the bhasha in the entire world is upasana. Just like in the grammar, you use variety of the sandhis and vigrahas and cases. That's what the bhasha you learnt. Same way in the entire world, the Paramatma is doing the sandhis and the vigrahas and bhashas and all these things. Same like this only. If this learning of the bhasha, the training given to ourselves while learning the bhasha, the training given to ourselves while learning the bhasha, for learning the language, in the same training when it is applied in the world, it becomes upasana. Like in the grammar, the letters they come together and walk, make the words and sentences. Same way in the world also, the Paramatma's different vibhutis are coming together and the making the world happen. What is happening in the world is Vyakaranam only. Like you come, I come, we talk together. What is this grammar? In that we talk together lovingly or fightingly, different thing. It is the utilization of the grammar different way, but this itself is a grammar. जैसे अक्षरों के बीच में मिलन से भाषा बनकर हर तरह का चीज जो बन रहा है, उसी तरह से अक्षर परब्रह्म अलोन is in the form of all these rupa nama, playing the grammar of the universe, right from creation till the dissolution. Like the creation of the bhasha, utilization of the bhasha. When the talking is over, then the dissolution of the bhasha. Okay, na? I started speaking 1 hour back, went on speaking, now I stop it. तो creation, maintenance, dissolution हो गया कि नहीं भाषा का? With this as the vision, you can develop the vision to visualize the creation of the entire world, its maintenance and dissolution. Same thing you can see in your own self. That in the self, the ahamidam is created, it is maintained, it is dissolving. Therefore, what is happening is universe is nothing but the language only, bhasha only. Means this learning of language, how it can become contemplation. That is what the Guru is guiding us future. Otherwise, सिर्फ भाषा सीख लिया, ग्रामर सब कुछ, कोई स्पिरिचुअल साधना नहीं हुआ तो क्या फायदा? That is the meaning of the Dukrum Karane there in Bhaja Govinda. What is the meaning of Dukrum Karane there? You have learnt the Bhasha or Vyakarana language, but you have never learned to use that language or Vyakarana and Bhasha to visualize Paramatma. Then all that your Dukrum Karane is Nahi Nahi Rakshati. Expand this thought. What is the expansion? Therefore, as a human being in this life, with whatever the effort, whatever you learn, whatever you earn, whether it is money, whether it is language, whether it is the friends, whether it is abilities or talents, all of them should be utilized only to know the truth. Because only knowing the truth you get liberated. And all these are learned, but not used to learn the word, learn the truth or reach the truth. The same things become bondage. Just like I learned singing. If that singing I use to propitiate the Lord and get His blessings, and darshanam, the singing has fulfilled in giving me Bhagwan. But same singing I learned. But instead of propitiating the Lord for spiritual purpose, if I use for my own commercial purpose, if I use only to entertain the people, is not becoming a bondage. All the time there is a bondage. Ki my concerts are not happening, or happening but not by publicity done. Publicity is done but people have not come, or the appreciation is not come, or the proper rewards are not given, or the money is not given. Such a divine ability of singing you are using for becoming a samsari. This is how these particular Taittiriya Upanishad alone expands our intellect as to how every learning has to be used only to know the truth. And the first learning of all learnings is the Shiksha, that is Varnanam Lekhanam, Varnanam Pathanam, Varnanam Ucharanam, that also with swaras and also the matras and also with the bala and in having the samata, and the next one is santana, which we are going to see tomorrow. These things when we again listen, little more idea comes. वेदांत का ना 10 बार सुनना होता है, तभी जाकर थोड़ा पड़ेगा समझ में. So today this much is the base we try to understand. Tomorrow we conclude this one. Then we enter into how these sandhi rules which are learned in grammar will help us in doing the upasana in the world. The upasana is seeing how the Lord's grace is functioning in the world in making the things happen. A beautiful vision. You'll be surprised to see it tomorrow's class. Thank you. Om, 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 Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah Paramarshibhyo Namah Parabrahmane Namah Shruti Matre Namah Yajnavalkya Vaishampayanadirashibhyo Namah Vedavyasadirashibhyo Namah Adya Shankara Sadgure Namah Shrutimatre Namah Asmatgurubhyo Namah Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Let us study for some time our Vidura Niti.